Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from spring break. I hope you had a restful time. As we will come back, we are going to look today at ambiguous pronouns, making it make sense. But first, we want to review these revision strategies that we certainly forgot over break. So, using sentence patterns is very important, making sure we proofread so we're not making silly, foolish errors. We want to incorporate detail both in our examples and in our word choice and making sure our word choice is spot on. We want to have smooth, silky smooth transitions. We want to have strong verbs. And of course, we want to have clear and concise writing. We don't want to add stuff that is unnecessary or just fluff. Remember this, that if you use these strategies effectively, it's going to make you not only a better writer, but it's going to make you a better person. And that's really key. So, ambiguous pronouns. What are ambiguous pronouns? Well, we want to define our terms first so we know what we're talking about. Pronouns, you should know what a pronoun is. A pronoun is a word that stands in for a noun or a noun phrase. For example, instead of saying Billy went to the store and Billy bought a goat and Billy shaved that goat to make a jacket, you could say he. Billy went to the store and he bought a goat. We know how these work. We've used them before. These are subjects, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. These are objects, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. These are not the only pronouns that exist, but these are kind of the common, the basic ones. So make sure you're just kind of familiar with these. So we know what pronouns means. Well, what does ambiguous mean? Ambiguous means having an unclear or a double meaning. And that's something we want to try to avoid in our writing. We want to make sure we are clear so we don't have these ambiguous pronoun references. To give you an example of a pronoun used ambiguously, I have this top secret footage of Mr. Camparisi on his spring break. Let's have a look.
Some apple juice in the fridge. Let me go take a pee and then we can drink it.
So what are they going to drink? The apple juice or the pee? Interesting question. So how do you fix these errors? Well, you want to make sure that every pronoun has a clear antecedent. Well, what is an antecedent? An antecedent is a word or phrase replaced by the pronoun. In that example I gave earlier about Billy going to the store and Billy buying a goat, if I said Billy went to the store and he bought a goat, Billy is the antecedent. That is what is being replaced. Let's look at another example here. The happy unicorn danced and sang while she pooped out a rainbow. Right? What is the pronoun? What is the antecedent? Take a moment, see if you can't figure that out. The pronoun, of course, is she. What is the antecedent? What is she replacing? The unicorn, the happy unicorn. All right, so making sure that you know how to find antecedents, know how to find pronouns, that'll help you make things more clear. We're going to look at three types of ambiguous pronouns. One is an ambiguous reference. That's like Mr. Camparisi and his choice of drink. It's when a pronoun refers to two or more antecedents. For instance, twerking and the stanky leg are my two favorite dance moves, but my sister doesn't like it. What does the it in this instance refer to? Is it referring to twerking? Is it referring to the stanky leg? Is it referring to both? We don't know. It's ambiguous. It's unclear. So how can we fix that? Twerking and the stanky leg are my two favorite dance moves, but my sister doesn't like twerking. So we're making it more clear, and that's important. So that's an ambiguous reference when you have two or more antecedents that it refers to. What's another example or another problem we can run into? A weak reference. All right, so a weak reference is when a pronoun refers to an antecedent that hasn't been fully expressed. It's not fully clear what the antecedent is. For example, whenever I watch a movie like 8 Mile, I aspire to become one of them. Well, who is them? Is it a movie? That's what you want to become, a movie? Do you want to become 8 Mile? Do you want to become the greatest white rapper since Vanilla Ice, Eminem? You must be clear. So how can we fix this? Whenever I watch a movie like 8 Mile, I aspire to be like Eminem. Now we're clear. Now that ambiguity is gone and we understand exactly the meaning. So that's a weak reference. And the last example we're going to look at is when there's no reference at all. For example, what you want to do is you want to avoid the indefinite use of pronouns to express general, unidentified ideas. That definition's a little heady, so let's look at an example. They say that swimming with sharks is a joy. Who is they? That's the question. Who are we referring to? Well, we can fix it by saying marine biologists say that swimming with sharks is a joy. We got to make sure we're being clear. They is a very, very common way to start a sentence that has no reference, no antecedent reference. It and you are other examples. So if you're using those in an essay, you want to make sure that you're very, very clear and you go back and you look at those carefully. So that's it with ambiguous pronoun reference. We want to just make sure that we're being clear, and these are very common errors that folks make all the time, and so we want to practice with it a little bit to make sure we're good. So on the next slide, there's 7 sentences that have ambiguous pronoun errors. You got to do 2 things. You want to identify the type of error. Is it just an ambiguous reference? Is it a weak reference? Or is there no reference at all? Or is it some combination? Because that's possible too. And secondly, you're going to rewrite that sentence for clarity. And within these sentences, you may need to create new information in order for those sentences to make sense. And that's okay to do. So here are the 7 sentences. A couple of fun facts. Number 6 was a sentence that was actually written in a church bulletin. And number 7 is a little bit tricky. So make sure you're being thoughtful and careful with those. Good luck with making your ambiguous pronoun references more ambiguous.